I love you, but I don't love you. You are special, but insignificant. And you are an introvert, but also an extrovert. Does that make sense? Mother Earth is a walking contradiction. Our society is a walking contradiction. And you, my friends, are walking contradictions. Now, isn't life intriguing? I mean, we have a total of 6,500 languages, yet only 195 independent nations. That's it? And when have you not lived in a world that wasn't so opinionated, subjective, or judgmental? Because I, for one, haven't. 4 years ago, a cousin of mine came out to his family about his true sexual nature. There was, admittedly, a mixture of expressions towards his declaration. The young, such as myself, were confused, while his parents over there, they were bothered. They knew that he was different way before his declaration, yet they still couldn't digest the truth. It was hard for them to assimilate the situation at first, but eventually, things went back to its original course. Fast forward, things must have changed, right? If only it was that easy. Our perspectives on sexual orientation have not changed. My best friend recently came out to his parents as well, hoping that they would shower him with love and validation, since he was undergoing some changes in his life, such as preparing the leap into high school and some personal issues. His parents replied, "Oh, thank you for telling us the truth. Fear no more, my child." Or so he thought. But this couldn't be any further from the truth. Instead, they considered his sexual nature to be a disease, one that was more devastating than corona. What world are we living in? And they even offered, and it meant forced, him to an appointment with a psychiatrist. And long before that, my neighbor has been struggling with her gender ever since she had a discussion with her mother about how she wasn't against the LGBTQ plus community, but was disgusted by them. The difference is astronomical. Witnessing these occasions were appalling, especially since I portray a more feminine behavior than most others. Hence, I question true gender quite often. You care for yourself better than anyone can, yet you're trying to educate me on how I should take care of myself. But what works for you might not work for me. And we have other problems to be worrying about: extreme poverty, overexploitation of natural resources, air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, pollution of every kind. But no, we're not going to devote our money or our time into solving those problems that might not even save the world. Let's instead just bring down this rainbow flag. This is a marvelous idea, one that could lead us to a new milestone. Or can it? First and foremost, they say, don't judge the book by its cover. Simple. But I say, don't judge the vegetable by its appearance. And what do I mean by that? Let's say you're at the grocery store. You went to every section, placed everything to your cart, and then bolted home. You awaited the moment to be able to make the most delicious, the most delectable tropical salad that your grandma's ever seen. Your two main ingredients include tomatoes and cucumbers. But oh wait, you accidentally bought zucchinis. How frustrating, isn't it? How could you have messed up these two different vegetables? But are they different? From the outside, if I were to hold them in my hands and compare them side by side, we'd see long green vegetables. But from the inside, however, one has apparent seeds, one don't. One tastes utterly revolting, one don't. But what makes us can differentiate between these two similar, yet different vegetables? We were in such a hurry that we didn't get time to know what vegetable it was. Sure, it's long and green, and sure, it's still classified as a vegetable, but in the end, they're completely different. And same goes for us. Our physical appearance does not make up our psychological behavior. Let's say you have to befriend one of two people. Person A, who dresses like that one new entrepreneur in town, yes, you know what I'm talking about, or person B, who dresses like a medieval clown ready for a freak show. Who would you choose? By the show of hands, person A. By the show of hands, person B. Wow. But what if I told you that person A has a series of psychopathic behaviors, while person B is just your local office worker doing charity work? Would your picks differ? Don't judge the vegetable by its appearance. Now, common misconceptions about the LGBTQ+ community does not only revolve around the fact that we are too quickly judged by our appearance, but we are also tagged with the word mistake. Let's use our previous example. You're just too frustrated that you got zucchinis, and you've aged 20 years in the process as well. So let's do something fun, relaxing, and fresh. We have a lovely sketch of a rose here that is missing a bit of colors. And you decide to use watercolors. Let's choose the colors red and green. Perfect. But you see, humans, we are nowhere near perfection. See where the red and green touches? Well, those two colors end up intertwining with one another, resulting in the color yellow. What would you do in this situation? Would you attempt to dab it off with tissue paper, ultimately removing it from our rose? Or would you layer spots that were intended to be green with green and red with red? But why do you need to do that? It should be obvious that red and green were intended, but yellow was also intended, not by the painter, but by the colors themselves, because welcome to science class. In today's lesson, we're going to learn that water molecules are unpredictable. And we're just like that. Our movements are unpredictable. But no, you don't want yellow. So you're going to remove us from the rose, what essentially is removing us from society. And no, you don't want those that are different. So you're going to engulf us within the two binary colors while suppressing us from expressing ourselves with other colors of the spectrum. But at the end of the day, there is no such thing as norm. Think about it. If I asked you to define normality, I reckon the most popular answer I would receive is something that fits within the standard. But what is this infamous standard that we're all thinking about? Say you're in maths class, and the teacher asked you to find the mean of the sequence of numbers, which I already did, don't freak out. That mean, 58.6, can't represent 2 and 90, can it? Because it's too far away from those two numbers. It can only represent the majority, not the minority. But with this example, however, we have other ways of finding averages, such as median, mode, and or range. Let's say you want to do a survey, and you're going to ask the population in your area, or the population in general. You're only going to take around 10%, are you? Because let's be real, who's going to ask 7 billion people the same question? Crazy! But that 10% can't correlate to the other 90%, can it? Because anomalous results can occur, changes can happen, and corruption can take place. The same could be said for our gender system. It was created to base humans solely on our external behavior or appearance. One can argue that what we do make up who we are. But you see, children, they want to fit in, so they're influenced by what they see. And trust me when I say this, but adults are powerful role models. And I'm not the only one with the same ideology. The American Academy of Adolescent Psychiatry stated that children look up to a variety of role models to help shape how they behave in school, relationships, and when making difficult decisions. So let's not go and restrict ourselves when not everyone's going to fit within that standard. And instead of complaining that you got zucchinis, try out other recipes. Why stick to one when you have so many? And instead of complaining that you got the color yellow onto your rose, change up your style. Not everyone's going to fit within red or green. And that's why we have more than 2 colors, more than 2 ways of finding averages, and most definitely more than 2 languages. So why can't we have more than 2 genders? So after today, I want you to go outside, look up at the night sky, say hi to the birdies, but also remember how our society is a walking contradiction. Then ask yourself, are you supposed to be adapting to these changes? And are you adapting to these changes? Thank you.